Hey everybody, it's Michael here from GetFitOver40.com, and this is basically session 2 of my Scalp Micropigmentation. Just over a month ago I went in for my first session to get the top of my head basically tattooed using micropigmentation. And so you can watch that video. I go over, some of the reasons and all that stuff. I've talked about it in a few videos, why I wanted to do it, different things, pros and cons of it, who's suitable for it. It's kind of a commitment to short hair if you do go down this path. And just watch those videos. Essentially, about a month ago, I did basically one session, which was 2 days, because the studio where I went to, his name's Kyle, has decided that he likes to split it into 2, a little bit less time. It's not as much, it's like 3 hours each session instead of one big session. And so today I'm going in for my follow-up session. I might do another one probably after this one. Usually it's about 3 sessions in total for most of these types of procedures. Just because basically after about a month, things change a little bit. Some of the pigmentation stays, some of it fades. And so you have to kind of even it out. Some of it actually, I found, darkened, and some of it faded a lot. It's kind of strange over time. Like maybe some of it even went too dark. So I'm hoping that, once he does this next session, that dark ones don't look as so dark, because they almost look to me like they're maybe too dark. So I don't know how you go back on that. I guess over time they will fade as well, but right now they seem a little dark to me. So I'll just give you an idea of how things are looking. Let me just get this. Okay, so I'm hoping you're seeing all this. Okay, get it here. If I do this, then I can actually see it in the mirror. Alright, so that's the back. I'm going to switch around so I can see in the mirror to the side. Okay, gives you an idea what's kind of going on. And anyway, so that's kind of what's going on. I'm going to go in today. I'm going to take some pictures before and after, obviously. I might, well, the plan is to basically probably edit several days worth of what's happening. So basically today's session, tomorrow's session, and then, maybe even during the week as the redness goes down, I might do like a final, here's what it kind of looks like now after the second session, redness has died down. And then I'll probably put together one big video. I might split it into a couple, we'll see. Anyways, the next section of this video, you should see probably some of the after results from today's session. Hey everybody, so here it is, the next day, basically Monday I went in and had my follow-up SMP, which was basically, it's kind of a touch-up, but really, to be honest, the second session is a pretty big session. We did get it all done in one session, but it was probably a good 4 hours of solid SMP work. Kyle went through and kind of retouched a bunch of areas, went through pretty much the whole top of my head again, from front to back, front hairline, especially up in the temple. I think we're still gonna need, now it's still kind of red because this was yesterday, but definitely a lot more even. Once that redness goes away, it's gonna, I'm sure it'll be easier to tell. There's basically a barrier cream on my head right now. I'm gonna leave it on till the end of today. So it's a little greasy looking. The barrier cream basically keeps out moisture and bacteria and stuff like that, so that it can heal a little bit better, right? Because you're not supposed to get any moisture, basically, or sweat or anything like that. Especially in tattoo in the first few days, it's very important. Maybe 2, 3, even 4 days. Try and keep the moisture and bacteria away from it. So, anyways, we're it looks pretty good. We kind of did a little bit of correcting on the front hairline slightly. Filled in the temple area. Went through the whole top of the head. Again, did the whole thing. I didn't have to go in today, which was great. And I think in about a month or so, I might just go back in and just get some of the areas that maybe, because some of this will, again, the pigment doesn't hold 100% throughout the whole top. There's still going to probably be some that fades a little bit more than I want it to, and some areas that just, little tiny bit more touch up. But that's all part of the package, right? It's usually at least 3 sessions. Maybe even a 4th slight top-up one, right? Everybody's hair and scalp and everybody reacts a little bit differently to the SMP, right? So some people can even get away with one. It just depends, right? But you know, I want it to look really good. You know, when Kyle wants it to look really good, he wants to stand by his product. So whatever it takes type thing, you know, like obviously the latter sessions don't take as long. So my next one in about a month will just be maybe an hour or two of just going over a couple spots, right? So let's just kind of see if I can get this in here. I'm kind of using the mirror to try and let you see what's going on. You'll notice it's still red. I'm gonna probably show it tomorrow and the next day as well. Let's spin around. Okay. You can see it's still kind of red. I'm trying not to get in direct light here because it's probably pretty shiny. So hopefully that gives you an idea how it looks. I think it's looking pretty good. Definitely a lot less patchy. I'll know a bit more once the redness goes away, but I could definitely see that it's less blotchy than it was because, you know, again, some of the pigment that initially went in this first session, you know, some of it held really good and some of it faded. Some dots will expand a little bit. Some dots will, you know, pretty much almost disappear entirely. They're so small and the pigment basically goes down in color, fades. So anyways, that's kind of where we're at. You know, it is a process. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's definitely a lot quicker of a procedure than in a lot of other things that you can do to sort of fix, you know, the whole male pattern baldness thing. And I think at the end of the day, I think it's going to look really good. So we'll touch base either tomorrow or the next day. I just want to basically follow this up when the redness is for the most part gone. So if it's not gone tomorrow, it takes me a little while. Got this English skin. It likes to stay red and kind of irritated for a while. But when it's not, pretty much, you know, when the redness is gone, that's when I'll do another follow-up quick video and we'll just see what it looks like. All right, so it's Wednesday. So we're 2 days after the SMP and things are settling down. I'll try and get in here a bit so I can get on the screen. Things are settling down. You know, my actual real hair is growing longer, so what might be happening too is the color of the sides blended into the top. You kind of have to find that happy medium of what you're looking for. So I wanted it to be somewhat dark on top so that the sides could be a little bit longer, not, you know, like right shaved to the skin. So, you know, with that sort of maybe 1 or 2 day growth look, maybe 3 day. And so right now we're probably going a little past that. So the side hair is a little bit longer, right? Let's see if I can get this. See if we can get it on the front here. Right? Just trying to do different lightings. So it's still a little bit red along the front, a little bit red in there, but definitely a lot more even. I'm still thinking that maybe, you know, I'll have to cut it a little shorter and wait again till the redness is all gone. I might still need just a little bit of darkening in a couple spots, but it's pretty minimal. You know, we'll have to see after about a month if things fade a little tiny bit more, but you know, I can go in for another couple top-ups or touch-ups if I need to. It's not a big deal. I forgot to mention yesterday, or even maybe the first day, that I did do my session this time without any topical anesthetic, and you know, he did the whole top of the head, and overall I'd say it was pretty much, you know, the pain wasn't bad at all. In the temple area you could definitely feel it more, but in the back I really didn't feel it much at all. Thicker skin maybe back there. But anyway, you know, he told me that some people get without anesthetic, topical anesthetic, some people it really bothers. But some people might be able to tolerate it just fine. So it just depends on kind of the type of person you are. Too much light there. We'll come back here. Maybe this will give you better lighting. So anyways, that's what it's looking like. I do want to trim it a little bit maybe tomorrow and see what it looks like. Hopefully the redness, especially along the front here, is totally gone. So it's a little crisp looking because again, it's really red along the front. And that makes the line look even sharper than it's going to. But you can kind of see up in here, it's a little softer. It's not as red there. So we'll see kind of what it looks like tomorrow. Maybe I'll do a little trim and we'll take another look. All right, so this is basically Thursday. So I had my SMP done on Monday. So it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So literally 3 days later. And this will probably be the last update for this session that I do. At least for like right after the session. I might talk about it you know, in a week or so, just to see how things are going, maybe in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, because I'm expecting just a slight bit of fading in some of the new stuff that was put in, or the new SMP. I still believe I'm going to go in again for basically the third round, which is totally normal. I mean, people will go 3-4 times just to get, you know, all those little bits done, because, you know, it's just the fact of the matter is some of the pigment stays in better than other pigment. And so if you want to kind of get it blended nicely and have everything looking great, then you have to go in a few times. But each session becomes shorter and shorter. It's less work, right? So basically my first 2 sessions, I had to go Monday, Tuesday to get it all done, the whole head. Last time, which was last Monday, I went in. I was expecting to go in for 2 days, but we got it all done in 1 day, basically a 1 4-hour session. And then, so I'm probably gonna go back in about a month or so, maybe a month and a half, and just get, there's a couple spots. I mean, it's definitely a lot fuller than it was in the temple area. You know, it's not bad, but there is a slight, you know, it's not quite as dark as the rest, which, you know, is more, I guess, natural. I mean, for someone my age, receding a little bit, that would be totally normal. So it's not like it looks unusual. It looks pretty normal, actually, and I can, you know, totally get away with this look, right? It's not a problem. It is a little red right along the front still, so that front hairline might seem a little bit straight, right? A little bit maybe too crisp, but it is because it's a little red there, which adds to it. But that's the weaker of my temple. That's the temple that needed more SMP. It was a little bit further back than my other one, whereas this side blended better. So again, there's a couple little areas, a few spots here and there. The back of the head looks great. You know, just a couple spots here and there that I think I'll need to get just a little bit of touch up, but I'm thinking I'll go in for a couple hours and that'll be it. And that might be it for me. That might be all I'll need until, you know, maybe 2 or 3 years down the road when I need another touch up. So, you know, I'm going to be doing another SMP video for sure. Probably on, you know, questions that people have been asking me. Like some really common questions are, what do you do with your SMP if you change your mind? What then? What if you change your mind and you don't want SMP? What are you going to do, right? You got this tattoo, you decide to grow your hair back, and it's thin on top, so it's obviously the contrast between the two is going to look funny. What about if you gray a lot over time and the SMP doesn't, you know, what about that? Other questions are, you know, how long does it last? Like, what do you do if it starts to fade? The SMP fades over time. So I'm going to kind of go through each one of those and give you some scenarios. And, you know, I've done my research and you know, I've kind of figured out a lot of these things and some workarounds and whatnot, and what you can do in those situations. So we'll talk about those down the road. And probably at that time, maybe it'd be time for an update as well, just to let you know how things are going. But either way, I will cover those questions. So I'll just try and get in a little tighter here in a couple spots. I'm gonna hold it so it can focus, because it seems to take a while to focus sometimes. So the front, hopefully you can see that. Thinking you're in there. Switch sides. You know, like I'm showing you really tight. Like you're gonna see some of the SMP and you're gonna say, hey, I can tell some of that's SMP. That's not the point of this. I mean, it's not real hair. It isn't gonna look like a strand of hair, right? Okay, it is going to look like a dot. And some of the dots will be bigger than others and more noticeable, right? But the illusion is, like, you know, unless you get right up in my head, like, you know, literally a foot away and look at it really close, you're not gonna be able to tell. And I can't tell when I'm looking at myself like a foot or two away in the mirror. I can't tell, I can't see the dot, the little tiny dots, and I can't figure it out that it's SMP. So again, like someone could be standing right beside me talking to me and won't be able to tell. Now if they got really close, a couple, you know, like within a foot and looked really closely at my head, then they're probably going to be able to figure it out, right? But that's not the point, right? The point is just to try and, you know, give yourself the illusion of having more hair, having a full head of hair, and the choice that you're shaving it. Anyways, that wraps up basically this section. Don't forget, it's, I put images in this video, but it's Studio Sashiko in here in Langley. Kyle was my SMP guy, and so go see him if you're local, or if you're, you know, close enough, that is. Go see Kyle. All right, thanks for watching another GetFitOver40.com video. Until next time, take care.